Hey everyone, Eric Thompson here. Hope that you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel as we consider number 71 on the AFI Top 100, Saving Private Ryan. Wow. So much to say. We'll try to be brief. 2nd Ranger Battalion during the Second World War, specifically the invasion of Normandy by the Allied forces. And the first half an hour of the film, that's really what we're focused on, is the incredible intensity of what it was like for those troops to be on the beaches at Normandy, eventually leading to victory there, although at a great cost, of course, overwhelming the German defenses and beginning the invasion of Normandy and the attack, the offensive against Hitler's armies. Of course, leading to the liberation of Europe in general. Specifically, we follow the 2nd Ranger Battalion led by Captain Miller, Tom Hanks, and the special operation they're sent on to locate and retrieve James Ryan, one of 4 brothers and the last of 4 brothers to be left alive as a result of wartime activities. The other 3 brothers had been killed, and so they're off to find James to keep him safe so that this tragedy does not happen to this family, of course. If you didn't know, this was an inspiration. The story was inspired by an actual sibling case during the Civil War in which 8 children were killed. And so 8 might have seemed a bit much for a movie, but 4 seems very intimate, very beautiful, really incredibly gripping, the action of the whole thing. There's a lot to say beyond the plot and things that happen and things that don't happen and all of that. Of course, this movie is on the top 100 because it is just so widely regarded as the greatest war film of all time. And there really are few other war films which one could say deserve that kind of accolade. 5 Academy Awards, 9 or 10 nominations, something like that. I guess, there you go. And so, the accolades from the Oscars and from the Academy and from the public, but also from those who lived these events. I remember my dear friend Daryl, and either he went to this showing or he was around when it happened, but in Coos Bay, Oregon, at the Egyptian Theater, they had a very special showing of this film for veterans only. This was common when the film came out. It was something that the producers, especially Steven Spielberg, who directed and produced, wanted them to do, was to have special showings for veterans only. And so Daryl told me, when we were in high school together, that he was in the area of the theater in Coos Bay when the film let out, and all these vets come out of the theater, and he remembers, Daryl does, how, frankly, shell-shocked they looked. Crying, very emotional, having relived this, okay? This is just not what an average war film will get out of a person. Consider The Longest Day, which was much of the inspiration for this film for Steven Spielberg. Indeed, in talking about it, Spielberg says many times, he said that he wanted to get the camera off the tripod, as it was in The Longest Day, and get it into the action. And that's, of course, what we see here in this film, in a style and an intensity that had never been realized in a war film before. The gut reaction by critics alike was to really criticize the movie for being so violent and so gory. If you have not seen Saving Private Ryan, and I hope that you will watch it, I recommend that you watch it with caution. Children should not watch this movie until they're ready to handle the visual onslaught that this movie presents. Please watch it, but be prepared, okay? Some of the scenes are very, very difficult. But that is in part of why this film remains so relevant for today. Not only because it broke open such a frontier of possibility for war films, but because of what war films have become and other franchises because of Saving Private Ryan. Of course, lots of war films that are just over the top with gore and violence, but Saving Private Ryan gave filmmakers permission to be realistic and to be artistically realistic in rendering the realities of combat. And certainly in, wow, Thin Red Line and on, all right? Even Black Hawk Down, which is night and day to this movie, although it has kind of a similar feel, and it's a very unique operation and rescues and all of that. The intensity, you know, and Spielberg's bravery, we're going to talk more about that in just a moment, to tell this story as it was. Perhaps you're familiar, of course, with the recent franchises. I'm just looking here on my shelf. Band of Brothers and the Pacific, both produced and somewhat directed by Spielberg and Tom Hanks. And those projects came out of this association that Hanks and Spielberg had. Also, just curiously enough, do you remember Malarkey from Band of Brothers? He grew up in Oregon, not far from where I grew up. And so my dad and mom and dad were at a church retreat, of all places, and the speaker there was Bob Welch, who wrote this book, which was really about Sergeant Malarkey's life. If you've seen Band of Brothers, you would really enjoy this because it's an incredibly personal inside look at what the Band of Brothers went through, the 101st Airborne, during the invasion of Normandy, and really all throughout wartime. And of course, if you grew up in Oregon, then it's an added bonus because he talks about a lot of the things that Oregonians love, so on and so forth. Okay, that's like 1/100th of all the things that could be said about this film, but I want to keep the review a little shorter, and I want to give enough time for some reflection. Lots of ideas being present here, but probably greatest among them is indeed bravery. Not only from Steven Spielberg and his bravery to make a film of this intensity and this realism, okay? Tom Hanks, brave to get into this role. And he has since said that, you know, not only does he not like to watch this movie, but I remember him saying, at least I'm pretty sure that he said something to the degree of he would not want to do a role like that again. And watching his performance, seeing the incredible vulnerability he carries into that role, I'm sure you can understand why. But there's also an amazing illustration of bravery in the 25th Ranger Battalion. Initially, you know, the guys, they just get through D-Day. They've lost members of their battalion. Everyone's scattered. They're trying to put the battalion back together. And then they get this order to go find this guy somewhere in France. And they don't want to do it. You know, Captain Miller and, who was it? Where is he here? I'm so sorry. I hate to stop. The Sergeant Horvath, Tom Sizemore, wow, incredible role there as well. They're open to it, of course, because they are, you know, they're in senior command and they're officers and they know what's up about, you know, following the rules, you know, obeying commands. But a lot of the other guys in the battalion they just don't care. And indeed, as they go about this special operation and members of the battalion are killed or compromised, all the more they actually really hate Ryan, even though they've not met him. They don't know anything about him or his circumstance, his condition, and the very unique situation that he's in, you know, being the last of 4 brothers left alive during wartime. But the members of the 25th Regiment, they really hate him. But still, they press on. And, of course, at the apex of the film, the great battle scene at the end, you know, they're all there together, fighting for each other. Not just for Ryan, although they've accepted that. You know, they've accepted that that's their role as soldiers, is to do as they're instructed. But they're there to protect each other in the most incredible bravery of all. This, of course, is exactly what Jesus said, you know. about love and sacrifice in John 15. Greater love has no one than this, that one laid down his life for his friends. That's incredibly good news and such challenging news. And that's what we see in Saving Private Ryan. At what cost is Ryan saved? Well, I just don't want to put any spoilers out. No spoiler alerts this time. I urge you to watch this movie to find out for yourself what that cost is. And this is the cost that we pay every day in our own way. How do we give of ourselves? How do we sacrifice of our own lives to save our friends, to help our friends, to be present for our friends, to assist our friends, our family members, co-workers, strangers? Here, Jesus, of course, does mean that we die for our friends, as in the ground dead, one life to protect another. And this, of course, Jesus exemplifies for us on the cross. He wouldn't say it if he wasn't willing to do it, and he does it. And by his life, we live. And so how do we give of ourselves? How do we die to ourselves so that others can live? How are we giving of our time, talent, and treasure to see that other people who don't have can have, people who don't experience can experience? And how do we exercise true bravery in our lives to see that these things are accomplished? That bravery to get outside of ourselves, even though we'd rather remain inside. Okay, remain inside our comfort zone, our place of peace, the house of serenity that we've built around ourselves. Okay, bravery is breaking through all of that. It's breaking free of the things that keep us wrapped up in ourselves. Bravery, true bravery, the bravery that's exemplified in this film is the bravery that seeks the good of another, that seeks the good of the whole, that seeks the needs of the many over the needs of the few, as the saying goes. That's number 71, Saving Private Ryan. Again, absolutely recommending, friends, that you consider this movie, especially in light of so many national holidays which celebrate, in which we honor those who have gone before us and those who have served in war, who have died in war, and those who are currently serving, who are giving of their lives so that we might be safe and saved. And so please consider it. Again, watch with caution. I want to say that again. Watch with caution. If you, like my mom says, she needs a pillow close by. So please keep that in mind. But I do urge you to view this and give it a try. Perhaps you saw it in the last video for number 72, the Shawshank Redemption. Tori said that she would not be watching this one again. And that's okay, because she knows it's a bit much for her. But I hope that you will enjoy it. I hope that you're enjoying the videos. I'm feeling very good about the progress right now. Doing very well, getting the reviews out quicker than I have been, and so I'm glad for that. Kind of in a bit of a slow spot right now. Not at work necessarily, but house things and that kind of stuff. Everything is not at a lull, but just real even pace as I'm able to watch more movies and get more reviews out. And that I'm doing all this serious talking, and behind me I see that. There it is, right there. That little, is it? Are you a donkey? What are you? I don't know. I think it's a horse. Anyway, it's our new walking, jogging stroller. There you go. So thank you, yard sale people and Facebook. All right. Like and subscribe to the channel if you care to. Certainly hope that everyone is doing well, of course. Thank you truly for stopping by and watching these videos. I do appreciate it. And please be on the lookout for number 70. Can you believe it? We're through the 70s already. Thank goodness. Number 70, A Clockwork Orange, coming very soon on E.T.s Film Review. Thanks, friends, so much. Bye.